am the Script Doctor, and it's Batwoman time. Episode 5 aired this past Sunday. As a show, Batwoman is not doing very well. Aside from the last Sunday in October, every episode has declined viewership than the episode before, very much in line with the writing quality. When people aren't watching, the value of commercials during its time slot decreases, and soon it will get so low that Batwoman will most likely see a change in its air date after the holidays to Friday, before it will eventually not be renewed for a second season. We can only hope. Until then, the show will continue to air and offend common sense and creative writing in the process. After last week's episode about explosive ink, pearls, and theft, what sort of pseudo-adventure do we have this time? Well, it appears the show has found its way back on the road and is exploring Alice's backstory. What sort of horrors did Beth face that turned her into Alice? Let's find out in episode 5, Mine is a Long and Sad Tale. The episode starts with Alice removing skin off the thighs of corpses for reasons. Kate refuses to suspect Alice is doing such a thing because a good hero assumes they know everything about their enemy instead of investigating their enemy. When Luke confirms that Alice is the skin pirate, she decides to finally track down Alice through the tracer she put in Dodson. Why now? How much time has passed since episode 4? A day? A week? Why wouldn't Kate be monitoring Dodson and planning a strike immediately? What was going through her mind? Was she waiting for Alice to commit another crime before trying to catch her? Was Kate spending all this time between episodes grieving over Regan dumping her? Since the writers haven't bothered to address those questions, we'll just move on to Batwoman wearing night vision contacts and borrowing a prop from the Titans show while she beats up Alice's goons. Well, that was easy. We can turn off the show now. Alice has been captured. She can't follow through on her plans. The show is over, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, what? Kate wants to know what Alice's plan is? She's captured. She's not going anywhere unless Kate wants her to. She has Alice. She's caught. Whatever plan she has cannot be completed. We know it's not dependent on a ticking clock because we've seen examples of her not understanding that concept, so why is it important to any of her plans? Hand Alice over to the authorities. Let them take care of her. Let them have doctors treat her. You've achieved your goal, Kate. It's done. But no. Kate needs to know what happened to her. Now is not the time to be asking those questions. Get her in a hospital. Put her in a straitjacket. Run that damn DNA test that proves what we already know. Okay, so we're not getting intelligent choices from our characters this episode. Nope, it's all about Alice's backstory. And yet, instead of Alice recounting events in the Batcave jail, Kate takes her on a road trip. Why? There's nothing to warrant her doing this. Alice has no leverage here. Kate may want to know what happened to Beth, but there's no reason to have her find out right away. If Alice doesn't want to talk, she can hang out in Bat Jail. You had Dodson there for a few weeks. Let Alice sweat it out just as long. Kate is in the position of power. All she has to do is wait out Alice and she'll get the information she needs. Alice can't do anything, and it's not like her goons are going to be able to find Alice or enact whatever plan she had in the making. There's no rational reason for Kate to oblige Alice in any way. The only reason the story is going in this direction is because the writers want it to. It's not driven by character at all. Alice has nothing to compel Kate to act this way. This action makes us think that Kate is easily manipulated and very stupid. We don't want our heroes to be easily manipulated and stupid because then we cannot trust them to make the best choice when faced with difficult decisions. It gets even worse because Alice manages to turn the tables on Kate and have her chained up in the room Alice was held in for years. The writers of this show think this is a clever role reversal, but it is actually contrived garbage. It's not Alice being more clever than Kate, it's Kate being dumber than Alice. They're making the main character incompetent in order to elevate the villain. This is not proper character work. This is lazy character work. But it doesn't stop there, because towards the end of the episode, Kate has Mouse at gunpoint. Alice has stabbed Daddy Crow and has a gun trained on him, and Sophie is flanking Alice at gunpoint as well. There is no standoff at this time. Alice is caught along with Mouse. But no, Kate and Sophie both let Alice and Mouse go. Why? There is no reason to do so. It is absolutely stupid. What's the worst that could happen? Alice shoots Daddy Crow? Then she doesn't have a shield to protect her from capture. Sophie can still shoot Alice or close in on her, and Alice and Mouse are taken away. Sure, Daddy Crow is dead, but your villains are stopped. But Alice isn't exactly in the position where doing that is to her advantage. Alice has a gun trained on her and a gun trained on Mouse. She has no power in this dynamic. No one has a gun trained on Sophie. Sophie has free range to put handcuffs on Beth without any repercussions. They can get medical treatment on Daddy Crow, and now they have another one of Alice's partners in custody. By all logical accounts, the problems are solved. But that's not helpful to the writers that need to drag this show out 22 episodes, so the only reason Alice gets away is because the writers want her to. It is a blatant misunderstanding of a dramatic standoff and how it works. In a dramatic standoff, you have two people holding a person of value to the other at gunpoint. Both cannot act without the other acting first. The moment you put in a third party that picks a side, the opposite side no longer has leverage and the standoff ends. In what I've just described, those are the only parts of the episode where a choice needs to be made, and in both cases the character that has all the power and control in the scene voluntarily gives it up just because. What is the actual story of this episode? Beth was found in a river by the Cartwright family, where they have gender-swapped Jane Cartwright, aka Jane Doe, as a boy named Johnny, but called Mouse. Well, props to the writing team, as I didn't see that reinterpretation of a Batman villain coming. Beth wants to go home, but the father is keeping her there. Daddy Crow and Beth get a tip that Beth is at the Cartwright house, but is fooled by Johnny's ability to mimic voices. They leave the farm fooled, and that's pretty much the end of it for Daddy Crow and young Kate. Beth learns that the father is doing a Leatherface thing with Johnny, which is to explain the faces floating in the sinks and Alice's theft of the skin from the morgue. Johnny wants Beth to stay and be her friend and gives her the book Alice in Wonderland as a means to keep herself company until she's eventually let out. The episode ends with Alice and Mouse sitting in a fire hazard giggling. That's it. This episode is aptly titled. It is long, it is sad, but not for the reasons the writer intended. Very little happens this time around. Again, like in episode 2, we have to ask, where are the characters at the start and have they changed at the end? This only really applies to Daddy Crow, who finally accepts Alice as his daughter Beth, but that's all that happens with him in this episode. There's no sense of new motivation, new goal, nothing. He learns Beth and Alice are the same and hangs out at a bridge with Kate. There is a subplot where the stepsister and Luke hang out at Wayne Enterprises for no reason. We're also introduced to Carl, who is part of the building security. Where the hell was he in the pilot? And that's it. There's nothing more to say about this episode. It repeats all the mistakes from previous episodes. They don't put any effort in any of the characters to take the story to new territory. Luke has nothing to do other than watch marry the stepsister, but really he should have just kicked her out. Kate had no reason to release Alice and go on that road trip, but to the writer's perspective, if they didn't do that, they wouldn't have a story. Well, guess what? You still don't have a story. No one cares about that one scene the stepmom is in, and finally, no one in post-production even cares enough to make the background and the car scenes look real. It's just really cheap and lazy. If you enjoy this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have anything to add to this episode, please leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and never forget, it all starts with the script.